Hey there, and welcome to Kristie Takes the Community, your go-to space for motivation, inspiration, and education. I'm Kristie, and this podcast is all about lifting each other up, supporting small businesses, and creating a stronger, more connected community. Each episode will dive into powerful stories, expert insights, and practical tips to help you grow, whether in life, business, or your own professional journey. Because when we come together, we thrive together. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's take the community to new heights. This is Kristie Takes the Community. Let's do this. Alrighty, I am here today with Santino Martinelli, Esquire of MartLaw Title. Hi, Santino. How are you?
Kristie, good. How are you?
Thank you so very much for coming on the Kristie Takes the Community podcast. I'm really excited to have you here and talk a little bit about not just real estate law, but kind of the journey to get there, where you were, where you're going, and all that good stuff.
Sounds good.
Okay, so with that being said, tell us a little more about you, who you are. Tell us about MartLaw Title and all the legal services that you do offer.
Sure. I've been practicing for about 26 years now, mostly real estate since about 2001 is when I got involved with real estate law. MartLaw Title, I've had MartLaw Title for about 10 years now, but I've been doing real estate law for a lot longer than that. I also had some part-time jobs back in the day with the state, with legal attorney positions. I worked with Narragansett Bay Commission for a little while. I had a previous title company. That one we ended up closing, and then I started MartLaw Title about 2015, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it that drew you into wanting to open your own practice?
Well, when I graduated law school, I just went on my own right away. So I've always been my own boss, which has been nice for my whole career, my whole working career, pretty much. And I got involved with real estate back. I had a friend of mine that was doing mortgages basically and needed an attorney. So that's kind of how I got started. It's pretty simple reason and pretty easy reason. It was nothing grand, but that's pretty much how I started back in 2001. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Mortgages, real estate law, hand in hand.
Yeah. It's a friend of mine. Yeah. Got me started basically.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's a little bit on your background and how long you've been practicing. And let's go back a little bit. You did talk about you had a couple other positions in law. Kind of friend was in mortgages. Then we got into real estate law, made our own practice. So where are you now with MartLaw? And what services do you offer?
Well, we offer settlement services, closing services. Obviously, we're licensed in all of New England, in Florida actually.
Nice.
So yeah, we help out. Hopefully, we help out realtors get deals done, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So besides, obviously you do real estate closings, real estate law, title.
Yep.
There are a couple other services that I'm sure you can do legally over there, trusts, LLCs, stuff like that. Yep. If you want to throw a little bit of that out there.
Yeah. I definitely do. I definitely set up not a lot of LLCs, but a lot of in real estate. If you're buying a property, a lot of investors put it in LLCs. So obviously we take care of that, help them out with that kind of thing. Definitely trusts, obviously as well, because a lot of people are putting property in trust now.
Yeah.
So we definitely do that kind of legal work. Wills, that kind of stuff too, but really isn't real estate. But that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
We're mostly real estate stuff and anything related to that, whether it be forming LLCs, forming trusts.
Awesome.
That kind of stuff.
So that's great. You can offer a few different services for your clients, and your biggest business partners being agents.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So where do you see MartLaw going in the future?
Hopefully growing more. Hopefully. I do like to do when you say MartLaw, I'm basically MartLaw. So, I would like to expand and get by. I did have an office down in Florida for about 5 years, and I'd like to get back down to Florida at some point because I'm getting older, and I would love to go down there and practice.
How cool is that? Real estate attorney, snowbird.
Yeah. So I hope to. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. But I just want to expand it a little more. Like I said, we're licensed in 6 states. all the New England states in Florida. So I think we do a pretty good job in Mass, Connecticut. I'm also licensed as an attorney in Mass and Connecticut as well in Rhode Island. So, I'd like to expand my practice outside of Rhode Island because obviously Rhode Island's a small state.
Yeah.
And, business is tough to get.
Yeah, it's tiny here.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to expand it. And we do Mass and Connecticut a little, decent amount, but I'd like to expand it to Mass and Connecticut a little more. That's what I'd like to do, and then eventually into Florida.
Yeah,
like go back and open an office back down in Florida and kind of work that out.
That's awesome. I think that's a great long-term goal.
Yeah.
So you are the real estate attorney over at MartLaw Title, but you do have a team. You have an awesome team.
I do.
And a team of paralegals. How many?
I do. I have 3 paralegals.
3 paralegals, and they are great. I can attest to the team and your service. Been working with you guys for years, and we have always got the deal done, no matter how crazy or extravagant or whatever, or whether you're buying washing machines or, we do what we have to do to get it done at the end of the day.
Yes.
Which is really important. So that's great. I love that for the future of MartLaw. That's awesome. So let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit more about real estate law. There's a couple topics that I think the community probably needs to hear about or that we want to share today. And one of them being, what are the biggest differences you see in real estate law in Rhode Island versus Massachusetts?
Well, as you know, the biggest difference is in Massachusetts, the attorneys negotiate the purchase and sales and put together purchase and sales and go back and forth with the purchase and sales until it's signed. So that's the biggest difference because that doesn't happen in Rhode Island, Connecticut.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And just to preface that, as the professional agent in Rhode Island, the real estate agent creates the purchase and sale and does all of the negotiating. Correct. Then once it's fully executed, we send it off to the real estate attorneys. Yep. Cross right over the line into Massachusetts. It's completely flipped the script. Even inspection contingency is different.
Yep.
And this is important because as a Rhode Island agent and as a Rhode Island attorney, we get a lot of Massachusetts deals.
Correct.
We get people from right across the border all the time. Yeah. The difference is very substantial in that it puts a lot more on the attorney's plate in Massachusetts than in Rhode Island, where the agents are basically taking a template of a purchase and sale agreement, making sure it's correct, executing it, getting it over to the attorneys, at which time the attorneys will review it, let us know if there's anything wrong, but it is very different.
Yeah.
So what would you say besides the purchase and sale?
Well, I was going to say, because actually, as you know, Mass, there's actually an offer to purchase first.
Yes.
So it actually doesn't go to purchase and sales. You offer to purchase, and then you do inspections before you even sign the purchase and sales agreement. Right. Which is completely different than Rhode Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Rhode Island, we execute purchase and sale. We do our inspection contingency.
Right.
We move on.
Right. And in Mass, you get the offer to purchase, do the inspections, and if the inspections go bad or if something happens, then you never get to the purchase.
You never even get into the P&S.
Yeah.
Which I can see both ways how it works. I think being a little biased on my end as the professional agent, I am more Rhode Island based. Mm-hmm. I love having our purchase and sale because it's easy. But also on the Massachusetts side, I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney, but it is helpful that you guys get to be on the purchase and sale on that end. So it's it takes longer, but it does take a little bit of paperwork off of our plates at the end of the day. I'm still baffled by...
It definitely takes longer, too. That's the other thing. It takes
longer. And I feel like they're way more detailed.
Yeah.
Like 5 pages compared to however many our purchase and sale is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was helpful. It still baffles me that it's so different right across the line.
It is kind of weird.
And
the crazy part is there is a standard form in Mass that no one ever uses. I mean, there is still a standard form that can be used. And every once in a great while, you'll come across somebody that's using it, but they don't. They just, for whatever reason.
Here you go, Mr. Attorney.
Attorneys. Get the attorneys involved early and often.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that in Mass. It's all about the attorneys.
Yeah.
They put the attorneys on everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people who aren't familiar, what does a real estate attorney actually do throughout the transaction?
It starts with, we'll go through a whole kind of scenario, but we get a title request in a purchase and sales. We'll open up a file. Our main job is to make sure title's clear. Obviously, we get a title back, and then if there's any issues with that, we need to clear those up.
And really quick, what just explain for the community, for people that don't know what title is, what comes up on the title, the liens, all that type of stuff. Just explain to us why that title search is so important.
Because obviously you need to have clear title to sell your property, and that's part of the purchase and sales, is that you're going to be able to give good marketable title to the buyer. So if there's any liens that are on the property, they need to be cleared off, whether it be in executions, obviously mortgages that need to be paid, executions, liens from the city or town.
Right, water, sewer liens, if any. Second mortgages will come up on there, tax liens, all that.
All that needs to be clear in order to transfer the property.
In order to transfer.
So that's pretty much what title's all about.
Pretty much the most important process.
That is the most important process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that all leads to eventually you get a title insurance policy.
Right.
Ensuring title that is good. So.
Yes.
That's counted.
Very, very important.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. What point should someone bring a real estate attorney into the process?
At purchase and sales point, right at the beginning. Again, in Rhode Island, there's not much negotiation as far as purchase and sales goes, but a lot of times, like you said, realtor will just shoot over the purchase and salesman, have a quick look at it, make sure it looks okay, and there's nothing missing. But it's a standard form, pretty much. So, but yeah, I pretty much right at the beginning of the transaction is the best time for the attorney.
Now, for Rhode Island, we shoot you over a purchase and sale. If it's a Massachusetts deal, real estate attorney should be contacted at time of signed offer to purchase, or is it same that we should wait until the purchase and sale to get that going?
Well, usually it's when the offer to purchase, just kind of like this is coming down the road, so be ready for it. Again, we don't deal with that part of it though.
Right.
With the offer to purchase, that's the realtor, and then the inspections, and then once that's all done, then that's when we get to the purchase and sales, and that's when we really get involved. But when the offer to purchase.
Okay, so in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. It's always in the beginning. Always in the beginning.
Always great.
It's the best place to start is in the beginning,
Yep.
So
get the ball rolling, get the intro started, get the representation on board.
Exactly. Because especially in Mass, because you get attorneys involved, like doing a purchase sales, you got realtors, it ends up being a lot of people involved.
Yes.
So
sometimes too many, but that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Alrighty. So I'm going to lead into title again. We just spoke about it really quickly. The most important process of the closing most important portion of the closing process, basically when it comes to working with your real estate attorney in a real estate transaction. For the people who are not familiar, what does the title company handle during the transaction? Which you did just explain what title is. And the reason I ask this is because some real estate attorneys do not handle title as well. They go to a third-party title company. So could you tell us why it's so beneficial that MartLaw Title has your real estate attorney portion as well as the title portion?
Well, it's always easier to have everything all under one roof, basically.
Yeah.
In Rhode Island, you actually can, a buyer can actually choose their own title attorney separately from the settlement attorney.
Right.
Because one of the misconceptions is that attorneys represent the buyer in the transaction when actually they're representing the bank. We don't actually represent the buyer technically. We represent the bank as settlement agent. So basically our job is to make sure title's good and make sure that we do the settlement and we disperse the funds and all of that. That's really one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have, thinking that we as the closing attorney actually represent the buyer,
right?
When technically we don't. And then, so with that said, you can actually select your own closing attorney if you wanted, if the bank will allow it,
right?
And you can also, because the banks have lists of approved attorneys and all that stuff. So,
right.
But you can always have your own title attorney, no matter what. In Rhode Island, there's a law that says you can pick your own title attorney. But with all that said, it is always much easier to have everything together as far as settlement, title, closing, in one office, just because it's
one-stop shop.
Correct.
The less the people, the better.
Exactly.
The less emails, the less communication, the better, especially in a real estate transaction.
Exactly.
I agree. I agree. I have to say that it's been quite beneficial for me personally as a real estate professional to have that one-stop shop and not have too many emails and too many people in the mix. It just bogs things down. And makes it more difficult. And sometimes by the time you get an answer, it's like a game of telephone. So I find it to be extremely beneficial to have that one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And we're going to move into investors. I know you have some investor clients. How can investors structure ownership, like such as an LLC, to protect themselves from liability in Rhode Island and Mass? For the people that don't know, for the unseasoned investor, someone who maybe is looking to flip properties or hold properties as a landlord investor, can you talk about that a little bit?
I think you just explained it pretty well, but basically, all my investor clients and anyone for that matter, but especially if it's an investment property, you want to have it in some sort of. You don't want to have it in your personal name. You want to have an LLC because that does protect your personal assets and liabilities. It covers all of that. The LLC does. So every realtor, every investor, I'm pretty sure has their properties in LLCs just to protect them from any personal liability, which is what the LLC does, obviously. So I always recommend, and obviously we help our clients out with that, filing the LLCs with the state, getting all the paperwork done properly. But that's pretty much what I tell all my investor clients to do.
Definitely put your properties in an LLC to protect yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
So God forbid anything happens and not going after your personal home.
Correct.
It's really important.
Yeah.
And very easy too.
Yeah. It's super easy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Not too expensive either.
Yeah, it's not too expensive. You just got to make sure that you file, what is it, every year for your LLC?
Your annual report.
Your annual report.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to do that and pay the state $400.
Yes. Yeah. Make sure you pay the state.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Let's talk about leases really quick while we're talking about investor clients. When it comes to leases, what terms or clauses should landlords or investors pay extra attention to? Well, what's really important for landlord investors to know? When it comes
all
to
my
leases.
investor clients and all my landlord clients, and when someone calls me and asks me to do a lease or do for a tenant, I this is just my personal opinion, but I believe that leases really just protect tenants. So I always recommend to my landlord
Investor
clients to not do a lease.
No lease.
You can have a lease that looks, as long as it doesn't say lease on the top, you can have all the same exact terms and conditions. It looks exactly like a lease, except that it's month to month. So that way, because a lease only protects the tenant, and that's, again, my personal belief, but so only thing a lease does for a landlord is it gives them like basically a contract that they can sue on. If the person breaks the lease, then they can go back and sue for whatever the lease terms are, the remaining lease terms, and then money on the lease. That's really what it gives the landlord to do. But most of the time, if somebody's not paying their rent, then you're not going to sue them anyway because you ain't going to get anything.
Right.
But a lease protects the tenant as far as, you can say no pets and no this and all that. And if they break the lease somehow, or if they're in violation of any of those clauses, you have to give them like 20 days to remedy the situation. And if they do, then
you're stuck with them no matter what.
You're stuck with them no matter what, exactly. And that's really the most part. So if you end up signing a lease with somebody and he turns out to be a real person that you don't really like, you can't get rid of them. You can't just get rid of them. You can't send them a notice because they got a lease.
Yes.
Whereas if they're month to month, you send a 30-day notice, and then you can get them out quick.
You can go through the whole eviction thing.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but the long-term leases you would recommend as a big no-no.
I definitely do not recommend a lease. Again, like I said, though, you can have exactly a lease, just not call it a lease, and you can put whatever you want in there. Clauses, it's just a month-to-month rental agreement, but it's basically a lease. Right. It's just not locking the landlord in.
In my personal experience with clients that are landlords and investor clients, I agree on the lease thing. We've had 10-page leases and had some horrible situations, I think, with a mutual client that we were trying to help. And so I have to agree with that after having been through a few situations with landlord investor clients. The protection really is for the tenant.
Yeah.
No matter what verbiage is in there. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is here.
And again, the most important point of that is that whatever they violate, they have under a lease they can fix.
Right.
fix up whatever
Right.
the
They have an
problem is.
opportunity to make it
And
right.
if they fix it, then,
Yeah.
you're stuck.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was helpful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about closings. This is a fun one.
Yes.
What are the most common issues that cause closings to fall apart?
Well, one that's come up a lot lately is solar panels.
Solar panels.
Yes. A lot of people love solar panels. They think they're a great thing, but when they're on the house and you're trying to sell it, you don't realize, most people don't realize, and every solar panel company is different. That's the other problem.
Yeah, they
Some
do not go by the same standards.
Nope. And some, once in a while, you'll catch one that's okay, but 99% of the time, it's like they won't let you transfer. You got to pay them off. Which, when people put them on, don't realize this when they're going to go sell their house because they don't read the fine print.
Yep.
Or they have to have the buyer like apply for a and put an application and it gets denied.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Of course, it's going to get denied. They
want to get paid.
They have a mortgage on their credit right now. So we hear these solar companies like, yeah, buy this house and pay this much money. I don't know what their credit requirements are, and it is different per solar company. I've had clients that I know have great credit.
Yeah.
Maybe their DTI was a little maxed out because of the mortgage and not be approved. And then it's like, what do you do in that case? Lots of negotiation. Who has 15 to 30K to pay out of pocket after purchasing a house? It is so controversial now in real estate. I have to agree with you. Solar is becoming a huge problem in sales. Yeah. It's killing deals everywhere.
I've seen several deals over the last 6-8 months that have died because of solar panels, which is crazy.
Yeah. So my personal recommendation is,
it sounds like a great idea, and it's not a bad idea, but it's just people don't realize the ramifications later on when you, like you said, like we talked, like if you're going to die in a house, then fine. But
if you plan on dying in that house or conveying that house to a family member after you pass away, go ahead and get the solar panels. But unfortunately, no one can predict the seasons of life. Right. And so a lot of people don't realize in real estate, sometimes sales aren't a choice. Sometimes they're just a life reason. We've got divorce, we've got death, we've got kids, we've got all sorts of things, financial issues that can pop up. There's no way to know that you're going to be in that house for 30 years. Right. So solar, I have to say, from a real estate perspective, unless you know you're going to die there, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's going to be so hard to sell your house unless you want to pay them off.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different story.
That's the whole, exactly. Because I did have one that the guy paid him off.
Yes. We actually had a client that the guy paid him off, but he was the second owner on those panels.
Yeah.
Had it transferred to him, so the payoff wasn't nearly as high as all these people that have gotten the panels within 6, 5, 4, 3 years. They had been there for quite a while. The 30K had gotten down much lower, more bearable at that point, and he was already experiencing benefits from the panels. So every situation is different.
It is.
It definitely is probably the biggest deal killer right now in my experience, and glad to hear that it is in yours too.
And another thing, not on solar panels, but another thing is, and it's really not technically an attorney issue, but is, getting the closing, the day of closing, doing a walkthrough and getting there. That is always like 50% of closings I do. There's always like, we got to do an escrow agreement because they left this or they didn't clean up this, and that is one of the biggest things with closings like that pop up. And it's really not a closing thing, but
the property not being per the purchase and sale contract as it should be.
Broom cleaned.
Swept, broom clean, no personal property. Or how about when they take the personal property they weren't supposed to take, like a refrigerator or a washing machine. That's probably why you have some good connections with the appliance people.
So then we have to negotiate escrows and, that.
Right. And I've heard.
And that's when the attorneys get involved.
I've heard from the real estate attorneys how much you guys love to escrow things. Totally kidding. The real estate attorneys hate escrowing.
Yes, we do.
And us agents, we're just like, just throw it in escrow. Just escrow. It'll be fine. Because we just want to close and move on. And they're like, no. How about another controversial topic while we're kind of on this is hold harmless agreements. I know you guys really don't like those as well.
No, same deal.
Same deal. liability.
Yeah.
All that. Can't get on record Friday to transfer ownership. They want to move in. We want you attorneys to drop this agreement that basically says what?
That says you could stay in the property until it gets on record, or you're going to pay money while you're staying there. But
and is there verbiage in there stating that if something were to happen to the property, the person in it is liable? Does that take liability off of the current owner?
You can write that in there. Yeah, you can make it so their insurance, their insurance policy starts when they buy it. But I always recommend when that kind of thing. This is just my personal recommendation, but that the seller just maintain their insurance until the deed is actually recorded. Just because.
Just in case.
Just in case, and it's if it's only going to be a day or two, it's not really that big a deal.
Right.
But it's better to be safe than sorry.
Of course.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How is technology changing the way we handle closings, especially with like remote notarization and doing digital signing and all that stuff?
Yeah, I haven't really had much. I haven't come across much remote notarization, but one of the biggest things that's been happening is the banks have started to do e-signings, which is really nice actually. So the buyer will e-sign like 75% of the documents prior to closing. So when they come to the closing, come to my office, it literally takes 10 minutes, and it's 6 things to sign because they e-signed prior to, and that's really is, and it's starting to get more banks are starting to do it. There's still banks that aren't doing it, and the more of that, and I'm sure most attorneys that do closings will probably agree. Like the more you do the e-closings, they're super nice now. It's like nice and done.
So you can get more closings in.
Correct. Yeah. And then when every once in a while you get a package that's like 240 pages, you're like, oh man, I can't believe this bank doesn't do e-closings. Right. It doesn't do e-signs, So
now you're spoiled with the e-signs.
You get spoiled. That's my point. Yeah. You get spoiled with the e-signs. So I think eventually everybody's going to be doing it.
Right.
But you still have to. So what they come and sign in the office is basically stuff that needs to be notarized, like the mortgage and some other documents.
The things that require a wet signature
and need to be notarized. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're signing. But all that fluff stuff, they just e-sign. So it saves a lot of time.
Yeah,
it's a huge advantage.
I agree with that. A couple years back, you'd go in with the buyer, and closings were an hour, hour and a half sometimes. Yeah. They were just signing document after document, and most of it was the lending documents. It's when you're closing with a buyer. Yeah. And it was kind of brutal. The first 10 pages are fun. Yay, we're signing off and we're buying a house. And then it's like the next 70 pages are a little bit daunting. So I have to agree with you. That's fairly nice.
And when you walk in and you see a big pile of paper on the table, you're like, oh my God. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
And then the e-signs, though, you do quit, you sign them. And most people will be like, oh, everybody tells me I'm going to be here for an hour. And it's only been, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely beneficial. That's a huge benefit.
That's been great. I have to agree.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about FSBO, and for the community that is not familiar with that term, what is your advice for buyers and sellers doing a for sale by owner? The sellers that are thinking they can sell this home by themselves.
Obviously, the first thing I would tell them is get a realtor.
Good answer.
Yes. If they refuse to get a realtor, because they don't want to pay commission or whatever reasons it is, but they definitely need to get an attorney because they're going to need somebody to negotiate. And that's the case in Rhode Island. Then we would take care of the purchase and sales, help them to purchase sales and stuff like that, which they would need to do. They definitely need to get an attorney. Yeah,
no matter what, you got to get an attorney. There's no way around that.
Correct.
For legal purposes to transfer your property.
Correct. Yep. But ultimately, they should just get a realtor.
Ultimately, they should get a realtor.
Who's going to deal with what they need to deal with? This is, what they don't have to deal with. So, because they don't realize the process. They didn't go, it's easy to sell a house. I'm going to just put it for sale and see you later. And then
accept the best offer.
Yeah. And then inspections come back and you're like, oh, they don't know how to deal with the negotiating that kind of stuff. Everybody thinks that.
It's funny because knowing what I know now, being a professional real estate agent, I couldn't imagine trying to sell a house by myself.
I know.
Oh my God, so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And now you can put them on Zillow and all that good stuff, but you don't know if you're pricing it appropriately. Right. There's so many little things that go into it.
Yeah.
That it is, if Santino is right, get a realtor.
Yes.
And that realtor will in turn make sure that you're connected with a real estate attorney.
Correct.
Because we know that you cannot complete this process without you guys.
Yeah.
When disputes arise over repairs, deposits, or non-performance, what's the first legal step that client should take?
Get an attorney. Yes.
Get a real estate attorney.
Yes, get a real estate. Or get any attorney for that matter.
Right.
That becomes more of a contracting,
Right.
It's still real estate, obviously, but in a real estate attorney. But definitely get an attorney because that can get really messy, especially deposits. Attorney who wants deposits back, who's not signing, who's not signing a release.
Oh yeah, that stuff's fun.
Yeah, deposits are always the ones that
Those are the fun ones.
Yeah, and somebody bails.
Oh
and they want the
man.
deposit back, and you're like, well, technically, you don't get your deposit back.
Per this purchase and sale contract.
that you signed, it says you do not get your deposit back, which is crazy. But yeah.
Alrighty. If you could give one piece of legal advice to every homeowner or investor in our community, what would it be?
That's a good question. Make sure you have very good insurance.
That's
That's the most important thing.
Insurance.
And that's nothing to do with me or you, but
Right.
That is the most important thing for any homeowner, to make sure you have very good insurance, because you do hear a lot of stories, investors
Yeah.
for that matter too.
Yeah.
About
Especially investors.
Yeah, exactly. About bad scenarios that happen and insurance companies won't cover.
Yeah.
And then you're finding an attorney to fight it, and
Yes.
that's definitely the biggest thing.
It is the biggest thing. And I can tell you from personal experience, what was it? 9 years ago now, my family and I experienced a house fire, and the insurance wasn't covering the whole rebuild. And it was quite a time. So extremely important, not only to have insurance, but the right type of insurance.
That's the
Make sure
point,
you
yeah.
have the right coverage. Good
Exactly.
stuff. Thank you, Santino. All righty. What is a common myth about real estate attorneys that you wish you could clear up once and for all?
Well, that's a funny one, but that we make a lot of money. But-
Same with realtors.
But one of the going back to what we talked about a little earlier, though, that was a joke. Obviously, one of the biggest misconceptions is that we represent the buyer. We don't really represent the buyer. We represent the bank.
Right.
We're a settlement agent for the bank, and that's pretty much the biggest one, I think. We certainly can help and gives advice as much as we can, but otherwise, we represent the bank. So
Right. You're representing the lender.
the lender, yeah.
Okay.
Because our job
that's
again
a good one.
our job is again to make sure the title's good and make sure that the settlement is done and disbursements are done, and that's pretty much what our role is.
Right. Now, for the seller side, though, for Mr. Seller, you do represent
Yes.
him directly.
Correct.
Through the process.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Sellers are different. Yep.
Okay.
Seller you represent directly.
This kind of ties into the same question. What's one thing you wish every real estate agent
Yeah.
understood about your role in the transaction? Or what do you have a pet peeve for us agents? What is something you wish we knew or would do a little better through the transaction? Too many to pick from.
Too many. Yeah, exactly. Pet peeves. I think sometimes, I think sometimes realtors think we play a bigger role than we, or trying to have us play a bigger role than we really should be playing. That's kind of my, like negotiating escrows and stuff, that kind of thing. It's
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, that's what we get paid for. But really, our job is to close the loan and make sure the title's good. Again, I keep saying that, but we deal with a lot of stuff. I think we deal with a little more stuff than we really should deal with, and.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't disagree with that.
That's saying, nothing in particular, but, I think people think we play a bigger role than we actually should be playing, other than because we're just the people that are making the deal happen.
Right.
Closing the deal, I should say,
The whole legal,
the whole legal stuff.
Yep.
But as far as the stuff outside, that we get involved with,
Yeah.
a lot of times that we probably really shouldn't get involved with.
Right.
Because then that leads to clients thinking, like,
Right.
we're representing, like, call Santino or, call the office and what do you think and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much, I would say.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. And of course, just as us real estate agents, we go above and beyond for our clients.
Yeah.
Not only do you have the same clients, but we're your business partners in a way,
Yep.
and kind of your clients because we're the relationships that bring the business.
Yeah.
And I do agree, from my standpoint, being on emails, working with several different co-brokes and agents, that sometimes there's things we put off on you guys that really should be in our wheelhouse. Like, so I can't say I disagree
attorney,
with that.
I don't really know what to tell you.
Right.
I'll try to help, but.
Right. But we appreciate you guys greatly for that. So we're going to get a little deep on this one. If you weren't a real estate attorney,
yes,
what would you be doing instead?
What would I be doing instead? Most likely what I would be doing is at this point, I would be a social worker, basically. So my undergrad, I went to Rhode Island College. My undergrad was social work. I graduated with a social work major. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a 1996 when I graduated college, and that's when I went to Roger Williams Law School, and that's when they had first opened. They were just getting their accreditation, so they weren't even fully accredited yet. So I was going to go get my master's in social work, but in the meantime, I was getting married. So I decided I'll just apply to law school just because it was here, it was close, because I had got accepted to go to Arizona State to get my bachelor's in social work. So my master's in social work. So I was going to do that.
Oh wow!
But then we were getting married, so I said, well, I'll just apply to law school just to shits and giggles. I can't say that but and I got accepted, and that's how I got into law school. Otherwise, I would have been a social worker. Yeah. So I don't know what I would have been doing now as far as in the social work. I had worked at in group homes with developmentally disabled adults for like 6-7 years. So that was kind of my path. That was kind of my path. And I was in my social work, and then I just kind of graduated. I graduated college. I graduated in May of '96. Got married in June, and started law school in August. So if I hadn't gotten accepted to Roger Williams, that was the only place I applied. We would have flown off to Arizona State. So, wow. Yeah.
Wow. And you probably have a master's in
I would definitely have a master's, and who knows, I would have came back, because I heard Arizona's pretty nice. Never been, but.
I never been either, but I do hear it's pretty nice, although hot.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. I love that. I myself, I worked, what was it, 2 summers ago, took up a little part-time job with a nonprofit, working with mentally disabled adults as well. And what fulfilling work. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. It was so great. Real estate had picked up at the time, so unfortunately I had to drop it, but it really did enjoy my time there. Very fulfilling work. And I think that kind of leads into, real estate as well. Everyone's looking at, this real estate attorney. It's like, well, at the end of the day, I'm helping transactions. I as the agent am helping facilitate either the sale or the acquisition of the home, and you're finalizing the process, but it is really a people business. And
totally is, 100%.
And unfortunately, it's hard to not be empathetic or to care. It's one of the reasons why I'm in this business, was to help people. I like connecting with people. So it's really cool to hear that about your social work experience. And I think that those types of things go hand in hand.
I totally think having a background like that helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Dealing with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely does help you in this industry, because we've got lots of different personalities. And let's face it, we're dealing with financial stuff. Yeah. People's probably largest financial whatever it may be in their entire life. So it does take special type of people. Yeah. Which we are for sure. Yeah.
It definitely taught me a lot. As with relationships and dealing with people. And there's like everybody that we deal with, this, like you said, it's every situation's unique. Everyone's unique. Every person's unique. Everything is unique about real estate. It's kind of neat, actually.
It is kind of cool. Yeah. It is kind of cool.
Because you do meet a lot of different people and a lot of different.
We have some very challenging clients and challenging and unique transactions and things we have to deal with. But there's also I feel like a very positive benefit in real estate is we get to come across and meet people we otherwise wouldn't have unless we were in this profession. And I found it to be great. Just relationships and friends and people that you meet along the way. Yeah.
And I always say, when I just had a deal a couple weeks ago that I was dealing with a bunch of stuff, and I said, I don't know why I said that too, but I think somebody in my office said, I just put my social work to work.
Yeah. See?
Because I was like mediating between these two people.
So it came up.
Yeah, it totally helps.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So finally, Santino, how can the listeners connect with you if they have real estate law questions, if they have questions about an LLC, or maybe even a future transaction? How can they get in touch with MartLaw Title?
Sure. My office is in Lincoln, 132 Old River Road. I also have an office in Warwick, by appointment only, but I can also meet people in Warwick as well. My website's martlawtitle.com. My office number is 401-475-1700. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions or, needs any advice, certainly I'd be more than happy to assist them in whatever their needs are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Santino, for coming out. I do have to say, I appreciate our business relationship, our friendship so much. I have been able to get answers from my clients on weekends. Not to say this is for everybody, but this is all down to relationships, and how our relationship has helped me just be that much more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like beneficial, just bring more benefit to my clients just by having these relationships, and not just you, Santino, but your whole team. All the paralegals, everybody in the MartLaw team has been awesome to work with in the real estate community, and we've had some doozies.
Oh yeah.
We've had some really difficult transactions, but no matter what, we always get it done.
Yeah.
And I think that comes down to just being really great at what we do and having great relationships. So that's also
It's
really
all about
important.
Communication.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's especially in real estate. There's so many components and people. If everyone's not vibing in that transaction, it typically doesn't go very smooth. But when you have great relationships, we are able to make magic happen for our clients, which I love.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming out today and answering some tough real estate questions for us. It was really great to hear a little bit more of the background too on where you've been, your social work, how that led into MartLaw Title. And I'm really excited to see what MartLaw has in the future.
I am too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Kristie Takes the Community. Remember, every small action makes a big impact, and together we're building something greater. Stay inspired, stay connected, and keep showing up for yourself and your community, because when we grow together, we thrive together. Remember, we can have more because we can become more. If you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and keep the conversation going. Until next time, let's keep taking the community to new heights.